we're off to see the cleric, the supreme much cleric of Valen, this week on the Hapless Heroes.
Are you calling me a professional whore?
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. I'm Francesco, and tonight I am once again your host and DM for this magical evening. I am joined by a fantastic cast of characters, and they include, starting on my left, Dave as Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
Well, hello there.
Mike as Lord and Captain, Quinn Southwind.
I can control the sea.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher / the Benevolent.
Nice to see you guys again.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
Finally, get to meet some more fans.
And John as Lord Jh'arell the Light. When we last left off, our party had crash landed into the waters of the Blood Bay and made their way to Ardwall using some of Quinn's newfound Sea Lord powers from imbibing some sort of secret beverage known only to the South Winds that gave him true command of the seas. You landed ashore, made some introductions with, reintroductions, I suppose, with Boris, and were summoned. Well, at least Jh'arell was summoned to meet the Supreme Archcleric of Valen, Francis Popeson, for something very important that apparently was for his ears only. Well, some of you weren't too satisfied with that for your ears only type situation, so we have two in tow silently, Quinn invisible and Boris sneaky as fuck, tailing behind while Hedrick and Zero enjoy the entertainment and refreshments of the common area in this sort of, the complex where the summit is taking place. So, we're going to open back up following Jh'arell. Jh'arell, I mean, you have no idea that there's anybody else behind you. You're just following this steward that was sent to you, right, to deliver you to the Archcleric. So you're led down to a private area that looks like it was quickly converted into, this was probably like a like a large room, probably unused, that was quickly converted into some kind of like mini chapel. There's like a shrine, an altar to Valen that was built there, and as you walk in, the door is quickly closed behind you.
Did I make it through?
No. It was closed.
Did I make it through?
No. Because, again, it was just Jh'arell, so the moment that he entered the room, the door was shut. So if you were trying to push your way through, you would have had a door pushed into your face. You may be able to hear through the door or do something else to affect the situation, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now, Jh'arell, what you notice is that, at the top of what, this quickly constructed sort of plinth where the altar or dais, where like the altar and like the tabernacle is, you see, the Archcleric knelt over in prayer. And as, you enter, the steward that was with you, quickly speaks up and says, "Your Holiness, I present to you your champion, Lord Jh'arell." And he stands up and he says, "Ah, my son, a true champion of Valen, you are. I have dire news for you, and the most holy of tasks. For you see, Our Lady has spoken to me once more. And news has traveled far from High Rock. The temples of the old gods have all begun to collapse. Non-believers roam the streets. And the faith in our one true goddess wavers. Something is happening in the holy city, and should it fall, I do not believe we will possess the divine might, he raises his arms dramatically, that we require to combat the most unholy of foes. You, Jh'arell, as the champion of Our Lady, as the face of the archclerisy, the one who wields the sword of holiness. You must gather your allies. You must stop this disturbance. You must raise up the name of Our Lady to the heavens and go to High Rock at once.
Jh'arell has been kind of kneeling and listening the whole time. He stands when he feels like the Supreme Archcleric has finished, and I will do this for Lord Valid. And I guess he waits to be dismissed at that point.
Please, before you go, Jh'arell, you must understand that at all costs, the Temple of Valid must not fall. The believers in the old gods, it is become apparent to me that their faith is misplaced as their effigies and temples crumble before our eyes. Yet Our Lady's temple stands strong. Spread the good word. Investigate the disturbance. And bring holiness back to the holiest city of the southern kingdoms. Only you possess the power, for I am far too occupied here protecting this summit from doom and destruction. Valen's power flows through me as it flows through you, and I see that you will get it done.
Jh'arell is still holding the helmet of Valen. That used to be one-way or two-way communication between him and Valen.
Yes, it used to be your, late night calls to the GF.
So, as he's kind of getting ready to leave and almost like half turns, he turns back and says, "Your Supreme Archclerics, before I go, would you mind, how long has it been since you last heard from Lady Valen?"
Why, just on the eve of the morn. My strong faith.
That means yesterday, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to make it sound stupid. Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Just clarifying for me. I'm sure
Yeah.
Jh'arell would understand.
Yes.
Jh'arell looks puzzled by this, but tries not to let the Supreme Archcleric see that.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as you know, right, he may actually only be the only person who can talk to her, which is kind of heartbreaking, I'm sure, for you, right? Knowing that for some reason he's still able to talk to, well, the goddess who did call you her champion at one point, who gave you literally her helmet to be able to speak with her whenever you saw fit. So I'm not sure how Jh'arell's feeling right now. Because this is not the first time he's mentioned this, right? Before you guys left last time, he even mentioned that he had spoken to Valen. And at that point, it has been a long time now since you've been able to actually hear her.
Again, he doesn't put the helmet on. He's kind of holding it. And if it seems like the Supreme Archcleric is done speaking and the meeting has finished, he would allow the friar. It's still the friar that had
Friar,
walked me in.
yeah, steward. It's just sort of someone who's maybe just a personal assistant, an altar boy, like who knows, like whatever just an assistant to the archcleric.
Yeah. Before he leaves, he would turn and bow and then exit through the door.
Okay, I want Quinn and Boris to make perception checks.
At 20.
God damn.
11.
Boris, you heard the whole fucking thing. You heard every piece of that. I mean, not a single piece of that escaped you. In addition to that, there's something else you noticed. Now, I could be a twat and just private message this to Nicole on Discord so that no one else gets to know, because I do enjoy every now and again handing out notes.
Oh, I do that from time to time. I love that.
So I think I might just do that, and I'm going to be a twat. Give me 2 seconds.
Dude, be that dick. That sounds great.
To be honest with you, like, how many times in this show
Have we
all
been
the
able
things
to do
get
that?
revealed and like people don't know?
But, it is me, the 13-year-old, so I might just, blow it into a bubblegum cigar and forget about it.
That was all information I wasn't meant to know until someone relays it to me later, so I was only barely paying attention anyway.
What I love is
That's a
that
pretty
Boris
detailed notes.
Boris is so stealthy that she can even stay stealthy from someone who is invisible. That like, Quinn, you're there, right? But do you know that Boris is there? Like, she can't see you, obviously. Like,
I am the door.
She rolled a 33. She didn't need to be invisible to just be invisible.
Yep.
she's 13, and she's just like, nobody knows where I am. Even the invisible people. They don't know either.
You can tell she was a middle child. She knows how to just blend in and not be seen.
I think I was technically like part of an orphanage, so I was one of many, many, many male children.
You were a number. A number named Boris. Maybe that's how you got your name, Boris. Somebody just kept calling you the wrong name and it just stuck.
No,
You
it was
look like a boy or something.
because somewhere between me and Fran, we thought it would be highly amusing to have Boris the Butcher be the least Boris the Butcher person of all time.
Well, it was actually James who suggested that, right? Because as
Oh,
I was describing what Boris looked like, I was like, yeah, Boris actually doesn't look exactly how you expect, because you turn around and you see, and then he interrupts me and says, a 12-year-old girl.
Yep.
And that's what stuck.
I do kind of like where this Boris name came from being my orphan number, though, because 80215.
Holy shit. And there you have it.
So I'm putting that in. That's going to the character sheet now.
I like that.
That's where it came from in the first place.
I meant to do that. That's what it was the whole time. That was the big secret. Oh, you figured it out. So smart. No, that's fun.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. All right, perfect.
Wow.
Also, man, this town has a lot of orphans.
yeah.
That's a problem.
There was some shady shit going on.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Jh'arell, you leave the archcleric to do his archcleric things. I'm assuming Quinn and Boris follow, again, silently in tow.
Do I not notice either of them? I couldn't possibly roll higher than Boris.
Well, yeah,
My
to say,
perception is
unless
so low,
unless
I'm
you are
distracted.
actively looking, you're using your passive perception.
Yeah, so no. As Jh'arell is kind of walking away from the door, he will put the helmet back on and again say, Valen, are you there?
Do you say it out loud or like in your head?
I can't remember. It's been so long since I used it. It works if I just use it in my head,
Correct.
right?
It had in the past. I'm just
Make sure you use the
yeah.
delay thought bubbles on it.
Yeah, just kind of curious if you're using like the mental
No,
communication.
he is a little Curious why he is not the one
Receiving.
Yeah. So he's going to try just do it in his head, but he really doesn't want anybody necessarily to know that he has this either.
Sure. So go ahead. Yeah, you make your attempt. You think for maybe a moment that something like you may be able to hear something, but it's probably just like, you hoping that you hear something, but there's really no response.
Yeah.
It was a floorboard creaking. It wasn't her voice.
Right. So Jh'arell's a little confused, but he knows he has a mission. The other piece he again didn't necessarily want to say to the Supreme Cleric was that those temples crumbled around the same time that we used the important portent
of unbridled light.
Right. Literally destroying multiple gods.
Yeah.
Well, I thought only some.
No, and what I'm saying is that he's
Two
saying
or
that
three.
additional ones have crumbled in High Rock since then. This is new information, like more.
Yeah,
are
sure.
crumbling. Yeah.
Sure, but it seems that would lend itself to the idea that gods are literally dying, and that might be part of. I guess would I do a religion check for that? Do I just
no? I think
guess
that's.
that?
I mean, I feel like you're making a distinction or a correlation between things you already know and a pattern that seems to be establishing itself.
Right.
So I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. Like, I think that
Okay.
you're kind of you're catching on to something, but you don't really understand much more than that.
Yeah. So Jh'arell will just, I guess, be led back to Zero and Hedrick.
Yeah. Now that you're back with them, Quinn and Boris, how do you make yourselves, I guess, like, seen again, or do you not at all?
Quinn kind of goes around a corner and reappears and then walks back around the corner so that nobody knows he was invisible.
Okay.
And Boris slides up against a wall as if she had been leaning there the entire time, again, with a bubblegum cigar in her hand.
Perfect. Just checking in kind of what the layout of the room is. Now, there's, again, people in and out of here. I mean, some folks are sitting down for like a quick bite or like a beverage, cooling off, or just, kind of taking a break in between the things that are kind of happening all around you, with so much representation from so many of the nations in the Southern Kingdoms. There's all types of people making their way around here, collaborating, doing things together, right? All kind of preparing for the long and arduous battles that are looming in the future. Among the commotion, you actually see Chief Executive poke his head out, the leader of the Omega Project. And he sees that y'all have gathered here, and you see him just kind of make a quick, stop, and he has, yes. Hold on. I need to make sure I don't go Troy McClure on this, and then I do.
Commit real hard to Kennedy.
Right, because whenever I do any Simpsons impression, I tend to always gravitate towards, hi, I'm Troy McClure. But
you may remember me from such
Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz felt things. Mayor Joe Quimby has never felt a thing in his life, so It's got to be that super robotic New England.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I heard about your successes at the Tri-Nation Peninsula. However, I also noticed that Dr. Hines never made it back with you. But we were introduced to some young and promising prodigies. They were, you seem to have persuaded them into assisting the project with some endeavors, and we were just blown away by their sheer talent and raw abilities. We commend you for your efforts.
Dr. Hines sacrificed himself to make sure that those scientists could get to us. I think those wound up being the true objective.
Right you are, Zero. It is good to see that you are holding firm to the ideals of the Omega Project, even being outside of our walls. Again, good show. I must be off on my business, but we look forward to your continued success. Together, we can beat the undead. And he saunters off.
And like we've seen projects like the airship fleet was being worked on. Like we saw all of that on our way in here, and like clearly like the wheels are turning. Omega Project like has this in the bag. Like building everything is what they're good at.
Oh yes, very much so. At some point, you saw Felix fuck off with the project, and just go off and do his thing. He mentioned something about the offshore facility and some unfinished business he had there.
I mean, we're pretty much used to Zero and Felix disappearing at random times. So.
There has been like very seldom times in our history as a podcast where the two of us have obviously played together with our characters. So yeah, obviously, right, when my character is not in play, he's off doing.
But I even thought about doing that exchange. Like I'm looking for Felix and just saying, "Hey man, I'll catch you later."
Yeah, I'll be around.
I remember him mumbling something about sinusoidal depleneration and Shremy pipes, and I don't know.
Yeah, he says something about if you need me, call me no matter where you are, no matter how far. So
something about that.
He'll be there.
Yeah.
If the re-encabulator works, there you go.
Anyhoozle. So Jh'arell, do you fill in like what do you tell your fellow party members about the meeting you just had?
So Jh'arell was kind of contemplating when the chief executive had stopped in and kind of given him some time to process his thoughts. And then Jh'arell turns to Zero and says, the Supreme Archcleric has given us a monumental task. We are to go back to High Rock to prevent the potential collapse of the Tower of Valen. He wishes for us to ensure its safety and security. What do they call them? Churches? Other churches have fallen recently. Other temples have fallen recently. Do you think this might be a sign that other gods are dire?
Yes, and I think going to High Rock's an idiotic idea.
What do you suggest we do to prevent the collapse of these towers?
Stop the gods from getting killed? I don't know, just a stab.
Have you heard from Valen lately?
No, and neither have you, which makes me instantly suspicious of somebody who says they are.
Do you think there's anything we could do to reconnect us with Our Lady?
I think if there were something obvious, we'd have been doing it 20 minutes ago.
Maybe the answers do lie in High Rock.
I don't like it, but
the Temple of Valen seems like a pretty good starting point to reconnect with Valen.
You're totally not wrong on that too. Zero's just going to be a little obstinate about this crap.
Oh yeah.
Boris, do you have anything to say on the matter? I privately I know that you have a vested interest in the goings on here, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I could definitely assist with if you guys need some extra hands. I'm kind of finished with everything I needed to be doing at the summit here. All of my important speeches that I've definitely already made off camera.
Well, as a 13-year-old Baroness, I'm sure you're used to all of this, but we get into some heavy shit. All right, a lot of undead that Jh'arell here is already taken care of. We got the number one to look after, and now it seems like this Ebenezer feller is over here on the side, and I don't even know what to think about him, and I'm just having a good old time over here. I need another.
What's funny is that it's right. Hedrick actually never witnessed Boris literally kill a man instantly in broad daylight and no one noticed. Whereas everyone else... two, actually. However, Zero and Quinn both have witnessed this.
Very lethal. I looked up that Tiny Tina. Yeah, that's perfect. That's pretty much what I had, yeah.
So...
I can hold my own. I wouldn't worry about me.
The concept would hit different from Zero, as Boris is probably 10 years older than him.
Oh yeah, right. You were built what? Almost 2 years ago?
He was probably online, not long before the campaign had started.
So yeah, Zero's the youngest one in the party. I remember actually during the I think it was like episode 1, you're like, I am 1 year old.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So yeah, happy 2nd birthday, Zero.
Yeah. I really wish I'd stuck with a more consistent tone like that since the beginning. He's gotten too conversational. I'm gonna have to knock him down a peg.
Terrible
we just call that machine. We just call that machine learning, Dave. Anyways, so what's our next move?
Hedrick returns. Yeah, Hedrick returns with his drink, and he's like,
you know what's really funny? Hold on, I need to hold for a second. I can hear that cricket in the background, dude. When you only when you talk, and it's hilarious. Because it happened right after I made that pun too, and I was like, am I fucking getting crickets right now?
Like actual live crickets.
I might even just leave this in because, these are the fun challenges we have recording from home. It's just like sometimes you have a cricket next to your window that just won't shut the fuck up.
I honestly thought that cricket was outside of my window.
Yeah, it seems to be whenever I see Phil's border light up, I was hearing the cricket. It's hysterical.
So through my headphones, I can't hear it. Right? It's like it's just enough dampening that I hear the cars going by outside, but I don't hear that cricket out there.
So
I don't know. Like I had it conveniently muted when the dog was barking on the other yard over on the side here.
Yeah, I have that problem a lot. So what we'll say as canon is that there seems to be a cricket following Hedrick around, and he cannot, for the life of him, figure out where it is. But we're just going to incorporate it into the show. Listen, it's trying to make its voice heard. Fine, you're a guest on the show, Mr. Cricket. Welcome to the Hapless Heroes.
It ate one of the peas out of the pod.
Yeah, it's like chewing on one of the peas in the podcasting. Amazing.
I named him Criminy Cricket.
Criminy Cricket. He's your
crime cricket.
He's your backup singer.
Holy criminy!
Jiminy grants wishes, Criminy commits crimes.
Okay, a great member of the party.
All right. Well, welcome to the crew, Criminy. It's canon now. That's it. We can't go back on it now. So, what's the next move, team?
Jh'arell is going to again look Twin and say, Quinn, I do believe that the Supreme Archcleric is correct in that we should likely go to High Rock next. We're waiting for the completion of the Armada. At the very least, we could try to contact our god.
I have always looked to you when it comes to Valen. If you think going to High Rock is the best thing, then we go to High Rock.
Now, mind you, this party has been kicked out of, or almost run out of run out of High Rock for real once. Almost run out the second
Only
time
two
we
of
went
them.
there.
Only two of them. Only two of the current party. I don't even think Zero was run out.
Zero wasn't run out of High Rock at all.
So it's literally just
the
Quinn.
two prime culprits.
I mean,
the two prime culprits aren't with us.
That's true. The
Right.
man who smashed down the door, and
I have 100% faith in my charismatic skills that I will be able to work my way through that.
all right. But yeah, just reminding you of what the reputation of this party has been so far.
It shifted
in
a
High
bit.
Rock. There's one particular person who has a seething hatred for the party.
Are you talking about Shelly?
Shalandria, yes, Shelly.
I
from
think I
the
did
south
a
side
good
High
job
Rock.
of bringing her back a little bit. I think I did a good job of bringing her back a
'cause you're
little
the
bit
only
last
one,
time.
You're the only one
Mort-
she respects.
Mort didn't help.
Nope.
I don't think she met Zero. I don't think she met Hedrick. Boris would probably have a fine reputation there. It's just making sure that Quinn
Yeah, I mean,
isn't Quinn.
High Rock.
I didn't cause any of the issues.
High Rock is not a huge fan of whoremongers, Phil. Or not Phil, Mike. Quinn.
And High Rock is probably
Good to know.
High Rock is
I am a
probably the
pleasure
closest.
giver.
Yeah, and High Rock is the closest city to Erelon and Riverford, where now.
Yeah, so Boris is definitely
Boris
going to be fine there.
Is the Baroness of, right? So her name is probably at this point known in the Archclerisy and in the leadership of High Rock as someone, as a local leader. So she may carry a little sway herself.
Yeah, I don't remember ever being kicked out of High Rock yet.
One thing that, from my world building perspective on High Rock is that they would definitely frown upon professional whores there, but religious people are nothing if one thing. Gigantic.
Are you calling me a
hypocrites.
professional whore?
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
Mike, I'm
That's
talking
me.
about the ones you would be patronizing.
I don't know.
And
I
that
don't.
there are more of
I
them
don't
in that
pay
city
for
than
it.
probably any other city because
I don't-
religious people are giant hypocrites.
He
I
doesn't.
don't pay for sex.
No, because he just hits on cougars.
Right.
Okay,
We've
let's not pretend like
established
Quinn
this.
has never paid for sex. I definitely don't think that's
no.
true.
Understand that Quinn thinks of himself as the one that should be paid, so he would not pay for sex.
Look, I understand. Quinn knows the truth. You're never paying for sex. You're paying them to shut up about it and go home in the morning.
Yikes.
Well, no, with famous people, that's what they are paying for is discretion.
I mean,
Welcome to
also-
the group, Nicole.
This is very educational for me.
Quinn is also an equal opportunity.
Nicole's hung out with us playing Destiny before.
Oh, sure.
So she's and she was an Eve player. She's
Yeah, I've played
nothing
Eve. This
we
is
can do.
fine. It's not in Russian.
Oh,
Quinn
goodness.
likes to make people feel good.
Mhm.
That's all.
Sure. Speaking of other things that aren't that now, again, what's our next move? This group.
It looks like Quinn
this
agreed
group
we're
likes to
moving
do
to
a
High
lot.
Rock.
Yeah, they say this group likes to do a lot of talk and not a lot of planning.
So
Yeah, I mean, I just made sure that Quinn was good. He's the captain technically, so Jh'arell wanted to make sure that at least he was okay with the rest of us going. Zero seems a little pensive about the whole thing.
my thinking too is that we can scout ahead and see what the feel is about my name, and if it's not so great, I can go invisible.
100% world famous.
Not always liked, but famous.
Oh yeah, how does Quinn's world fame play in that city now?
I guess we'll find out.
That's what we're finding out.
I guess we will.
This would be the first time. Hey, maybe third time's the charm. Like maybe this trip to High Rock will be different.
Hendrick's
The
always
second
down
one
for.
wasn't that bad. The first one was awful.
Yeah, the second one
wasn't that bad.
Mort just almost got thrown in jail, or did get thrown in jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
like Zero thinks it's a stupid idea to go to High Rock. Dave, the player, thinks this is going to be absolutely friggin' incredible.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm going to also just tell you as an aside, as the DM, I have been planning this for 2 years.
Too much pressure, Frank.
Is this a penultimate situation
That's prior to the ultimate, right? So yes.
leading up to, the grand finale?
I mean, it's definitely going to have its role for sure. Yes.
Cool.
All right. So if we don't have our horses, the horses that we own on the airship,
You do not.
we either have to get new horses or ask Baroness the Butcher to bring us to High Rock in her cart.
Where did the griffins go?
Gentlemen,
I'm gonna
I think
stop.
you seem to be underestimating one fact that has developed since last time we were in High Rock. Pause. We're rich. We'll just buy more horses.
Yeah, we could also buy more horses. That's what I was saying. Yeah, first we could just buy more horses.
Not to burst your bubble on the whole horse idea. You guys are on a fucking island.
Right.
Okay.
I meant when we get there.
Okay.
You know.
Right. I'm just saying the only way for you to reliably get to High Rock in any semblance of a decent amount of time is either by air or by sea.
Or by sea.
Is the airship functioning again?
There's only one way to find that out.
I mean, the airship doesn't necessarily have to function as an airship anymore. It actually might be faster if it wasn't an airship.
Where is Sir Shipslot? Was that
Quarantined?
destroyed because there was a? Yeah, it's still in quarantine.
Yes, because
did they destroy it? Did they burn it?
The smelliest, most disgusting little frigate that has ever entered any harbor or dock anywhere in the world.
That boat was all right until you let Mort get on it.
Yep.
And to do.
And to do.
And Pregnard.
And Pregnard. Yes, that ship has been summarily quarantined and probably at this point scuttled.
I mean, the entire crew, once we weren't on it and the hapless interns took over, that's when it really went downhill. I mean,
well, it went out to sea, but close enough.
Yeah. Quinn, can you whistle now and bring our ship to us?
Maybe. Let me try.
It's such a sad whistle.
I can't whistle.
Really
I am a
sad. I can't whistle either.
I was going to attempt at a pathetic whistle.
I didn't even have to roll for that. I knew it was going to suck.
A wing just falls off the plane in response.
Holy shit. No.
It's just going around in circles.
The ship just...
Did that work?
No, it did not. No airships come crashing into the ground in front of you.
What about Sir Shipsalot? Can he command the seas to drag us Sir Shipsalot?
No. That ship,
I don't know if I want to.
Has been scuttled.
Oh, okay. So they actually took it apart. It's no longer a functioning vessel.
Decommissioned.
Right. Okay, so then I guess we have to go check the airship. If we do we know that what happened to Sir Shipslot?
No, actually, no one asked the interns.
What happened to our ship? There were so many other things that happened.
Yep. Yeah, that the fate of Sir Shipslot was just glossed over by the main party. Whatever, I'm sure the interns handled it just fine. Yeah, they handled it by pretty much destroying that ship and ensuring that no one would ever use it again.
Wait until Quinn goes back to that town and looks for his boat.
First vessel.
Yeah.
Hey, the first vessel is not always the best one, right? It's just what gets you your sea legs.
Right.
Sentimental.
Yeah.
What were those things? Knolls? Did you get it off or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. You stole it from a bunch of gnolls who had been shitting the bilge for weeks. So it was already kind of a hazard.
Clean that out.
Time for Morton to re-ruin it.
Yep. So any hoozle. So you are checking on the status of the airship, is what I heard you mention. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you arrived, it looks like I got airborne again, and it's moored back up at that one tower. A short carriage ride from the private cove where the summit and complex is for the Sea Lords. And you get to the airship, and you can see that actually there are some repairs underway on the hull, as well as the gas bag looks to have suffered a slight puncture. So it does not appear to be serviceable. However, one of the crewmates and one of the repairmen signals to you that while the airship requires some service and would probably be ready to go again in a few days, should your or maybe like about a week. Should your journey be something that requires a bit of expediting, the Sea Lords have authorized Captain Quinn Southwind to commandeer any vessel of class below the Southwind itself, the flagship. Tessa has authorized
Okay.
Quinn to use any of the ships in the fleet aside from their flagship.
I assume that I could probably manage to choose one that I think would be the best.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on, do you want something small and fast, or do you want something large with a shitload of defenses on it?
Quinn turns to Jh'arell and asks him, do we want to be going into High Rock guns blazing, or do we want to go in a bit more stealthy?
High Rock is a port city, correct?
Yes.
Well, it might be wise to have a ship with some defensive abilities, but we would definitely want to get that quickly. You do seem to be able to somehow get us there faster now. Perhaps it wouldn't so much matter which ship we chose. It could be any of them.
I'm going to choose a large defense-filled ship.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, you're gonna probably get something in the, we'll say, mid-sized hull like hull class. Something like a destroyer or something like powerful. Can definitely has like that. Maybe it can reach like intercept speeds, right? But does still pack a punch of firepower in case things get rough out there.
Do we have a competent crew?
Yes, this would be crewed by some of the Sea Lord's finest.
Of course I am.
Not interns.
Okay, that's important. That's important to know that we actually have a functioning naval vessel with a capable crew.
Something else you guys are going to notice as you're kind of leaving the area of the airship, after Quinn learns the information about having his pick of the litter as far as the fleet is concerned. You have to kind of pass through and collect your things and whatnot, from the private cove, and a couple things unfold while you're there and collecting yourselves and gathering your things, because you'd probably be departing on, in sometime tomorrow, because they're also preparing the ship for you at this point.
So brunch.
The Troll King, the leader of essentially Scrag, which has it's since fallen, but the leader of like all the orcs and the trolls and so the organized, quote unquote, monsters, you can be seen storming out of the complex, shouting something about, "I just need a few good men. I don't care who they are. You need to find them for me." And he seems to be yelling at some people from different kingdoms and whatnot. He looks very flustered and frazzled, as if like he hasn't gotten his way, or he hasn't gotten his way at all. And he storms off. In addition, you also see Tessa wandering the grounds as well. She sees Hedrick, gives him a wink, and then turns back to her business.
Do I see that?
Yes.
You just see Hedrick. Whether or not you acknowledge him noticing her, he surely did. But he's got a grin ear to ear.
Gross.
Giggity.
So everyone here, again, remember you guys all had your private bungalows. It's where all your personal belongings are, and it's where you can kind of steal yourselves, prepare and whatnot. I guess what's everyone doing before we sort of end the day? Like, is there any business anyone's trying to take care of before you guys retire for the night and get ready to have brunch and depart in the morning?
Jh'arell would be in his room, kind of doing his nightly prayers, cleaning his armor and stuff like that. There's a knock on the door, and Basha greets Jh'arell. Basha says to Jh'arell that the Troll King is asking for better men to go north and fight. I want to go with you to the Temple of Aelin, but I feel like my place is with my people. And Jh'arell gives Basha his blessing, like literally blesses him. And Basha gathers his things, and seems to disappear into the night, looking for the Troll King and his people.
Sounds good.
Boris pops into where the buffet area is in the summit, and snags some food, an assortment of little sandwiches and finger nibbly bits, and then leaves the building. And
Before you leave, because you're going through the finger bits and all those, you notice that there is a large bird person shoveling cocktail sausages into a rump sack.
Literally all of the cocktail sausages. In fact, they've had to bring extra. They've had to bring extra trays out.
Pregnart hasn't been able to keep up with the cocktail sausage demand, but now that they can kind of reload, that's definitely what the do is doing.
I do notice this and stay away from the cocktail sausages without questioning it, because it looks intense and I just really don't want to get involved there.
Yeah, and when,
So I stick with the sandwiches.
and when he says bird person, he means goose person.
Yeah,
Goose
yeah.
person.
Dr. Dedu notices you, though, and is, again, not really sure who you are, but he will say, "These are delicious, huh?" And he'll offer you 2 cocktail sausages if you'd like them.
Are they both on the same toothpick?
No, he's kind of because he has like regular bird hands.
Yeah, there's like
Regular bird
What do
hand.
regular bird hands look like?
Like chicken fingers.
Yeah,
The air quotes are like the symbolic chicken hands.
I hope the audience could hear the air quotes because I felt them.
Boris takes the finger sausages and offers an exchange of a bubblegum cigar.
Oh, he loves the bubblegum cigar. Oh, Pregnant will love this. And he kind of like shuffles away quickly.
Yeah, and we're also
Now,
gonna
for everything, remember he is Dr. Dedu, which means he is a titled, not an untitled, but a titled goose person.
He's like a fucking wizard.
Yeah.
I take my little collection of sandwiches after that then and sneak outside and talk to a couple of kids that look like they're about my age. Look like they're from the street, but maybe just a little too clean and a little bit too well fed. To them for it, hand them the package and just slip on to do my regular packing and everything for the trip.
Yes.
And let them know to have some to send word forward to have some nice comfortable road transportation ready for us when we arrive.
Yes, Boris whispering to her little network of orphans.
Around the corner, you might hear some light strumming, and then some vocals as Hedrick has kind of removed himself. He needs to play. And whether or not there's a crowd, he feels something inside him guiding his inspiration. Now Jed Dim the man, a curious fellow, his anger seems to boil and bellow. We've seen him fall and return unharmed, but his demeanor has changed and left no one charmed. Jed Dim the man, his presence remains, but what man will he be when he returns again? And he just strums it out, staring into the moonlight.
Beautiful. There's some mild applause from whoever's around.
It's an inside joke. I mean, you don't know him. It's fine. Thank you, though.
You wouldn't get it. He
I
goes
like
to
the
another
song. I
school.
applauded.
Yeah. Okay. Any other nightly ritualizing that's happening at all, or any
Zero, as he doesn't sleep, wanders around the grounds, but he makes sure to wander around the area where the archclericy would be in hopes of, running into clerics.
So, aside from the archcleric, most of the people around here are going in and out of his chambers are, a lot of the same kind of looking folks, just like those friar-like, very simple clothing, like different attendants kind of popping in and out with, different things, papers, meals, fresh beverages, caskets of wine, the archcleric himself does not appear to really leave his chambers at all for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the appropriate hour for what I'm looking to do. So yeah, that's all Zero is going to be doing for his evening.
Okay, Quinn?
Quinn is at the bar. He is regaling his
Of
heroic
course he is.
exploits. But he is starting to actually add in protagonists that aren't him. He actually tells a story about Jh'arell and how Jh'arell was kind of the hero in that last arc, and he gives Jh'arell a little bit of credit. So I know
Wow,
he's growing.
There's a
He's a
first
growing
time
boy.
for everything.
So he, I mean, like, obviously I was like equally part of the story, but Jh'arell was the ultimate hero of the story. And I would say that the majority of the people were at least I'm perceiving them to be pretty engaged with the story.
It's not hard for you to attract a crowd of people willing to listen to you.
I'm very
regale them
beautiful.
with the tale.
So.
Yeah, you're handsome, and not only that, but you are so famous that it's kind of hard to contain the masses sometimes when you're just walking around town. It was probably the smartest move for you to be inside a carriage so that you wouldn't have just a ton of adoring fans following you around all over the place.
It's true. So I thank Boris for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, well, in that case, if there's nothing else for the night, the rest of the evening and night passes uneventfully. I'm sure everyone tries to get as much sleep as they can. And it is now Thursday.
Hey, Captain, have you had a chance to think about what you're going to name this new vessel?
It actually already has a name.
Yeah, respect to the
Sea Lord?
itself.
All right.
I would not be changing the name of the ship.
Well, I wasn't aware. I haven't seen it yet. You picked it out yourself, huh?
I did.
Well, I bet that was fun. Like a kid in a candy store. Right, Boris?
Yeah.
What is the name of the ship?
It is. Hold on.
I was gonna say like Hero's Journey or something like that.
Nope. It is the Oberstar.
The Oberstar. It is the Oberstar.
That was badass. I guess, yeah. Ober.
I pulled that out of the name bucket actually. So thanks, Amy.
Thanks,
Oh,
Amy.
thank you, Amy. I bet one of the gods thought up of that one. Speaking of which, what do you say? We got a new crew. Aren't you excited?
It's always hard breaking in a new crew, but I think I'm ready for the job.
Sounds wonderful. Well, before that, brunch is being served
Oh, fuck yeah.
in the main cafeteria hall. Everyone's favorite meals are waiting for you when you enter, and there's a table reserved for the heroes of Telduria with special guest Boris the Butcher. So we know that Zero doesn't eat anything, he just drinks motor oil. We know Jh'arell loves his pancakes with bacon and eggs.
And ham.
And ham.
And toast. And sausage.
Quinn always gets something really fancy and dainty. So what's it today?
Filet mignon with potatoes au gratin.
For breakfast.
With a side of with a side of lobster tail
The finest.
and a raspberry mimosa.
Yeah, the finest for the captain. Hedrick, I don't know if we ever established your brunch of choice. This is very
Some
important.
shit like he got some waffles or a blintz or something like that. I mean, he's not afraid to like dabble in breakfast food, but I mean, he's like a bacon and eggs and potatoes kind of guy. He's used to working and like
Fair.
catching a quick meal on his way out.
Fair.
You know?
And Boris, since we all know, obviously, that Thursday is the holiest day for brunch, what would be her, like, ideal brunch time feast prior to embarking on a long adventure?
I mean, Boris has an appetite, so Boris is eating a tomahawk steak and 4 eggs.
Wow.
The entire thing.
We don't know where she
It's
puts
almost as big as she is.
it. And Boris tucks that away.
In one of her pockets.
Many of the pastries around the breakfast table may end up in my pockets if those are sitting around.
Wonderful. And with that, as brunch service comes to a close, the party stands up and prepares themselves for a long and dangerous adventure ahead. And we'll see you next week on the Hapless Heroes podcast, where we get to see exactly what happens to that. But I guess before we even see what happens to our party, there may be some spooky things in store for you, so tune in. And if you like us, you can find us on the internet. We're on such places as Twitter and Instagram at Hapless Heroes. We're also on Facebook and Reddit. Just search for Hapless Heroes Podcast. But really, a lot of those places will just point you to the really only social media tool that most of us use on a daily basis, and that's our Discord server, where you can meet and interact with us and hang out and chat and just tell us how much you think we are awesome or that we suck. I will take it either way. It's a great community. I mean, really, it's just a fantastic collection of people and like-minded folks that have come to our show from one way, one place or another. It's wonderful. But if you really like us, you can leave us a 5-star review on the podcast service of your choice. At this point, you probably know which services those are. Not all of them even allow you to review, but if you feel like you can take a few minutes out of your day to tell us how you feel about the show and, really just say some kind words to us, we'll say some kind words right back to you and treat you like the 5-star human that you truly are. Now, if you really, really like us, you can donate to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/haplessheroes. We have a cornucopia of rewards, ranging everything from just a shiny little role on our Discord server to access to bloopers and unreleased episodes. We've even hosted patron game nights for current and former donors to the show. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode too, but for the second year running, you guys have helped us actually pay our hosting costs in their entirety for the podcast. It's really wonderful when we can get through a year and almost reach the break even part, because obviously it's more than just hosting costs that go into this. So I just want to say again a big, gigantic thank you to everyone who has and is currently donating to our show. You really kept us afloat and helped a lot of us, kind of recoup the costs we put into the show. And hell, maybe, just maybe, when we can all get together in person again, I'll actually throw a pizza party.
Thank you.
Pizza.
Can we get wings?
Sure, John.
Kicking wings. And if you really, really, really love us, Sally Fields and the whole deal, we all know that food trucks are super popular and trendy. Well, I'm not asking you to do that. Get a food cart with the umbrella, with a nice little swivel so you can kink it depending on where the sun is. Now, what it's going to be called is up to you. However, all of the items in this cart are going to be named after hapless heroes. And it's going to focus around tuna fish. Not necessarily fish or tuna specifically, but the texture of tuna fish. So you'll serve pate, you'll serve ceviche, you'll have hummus, you'll have tapioca for dessert. everything is going to be of that amalgamation kind of, squishy binding
Consistency.
served consistency. And you, my dear listener, my dear fan, the true lover of the show, gets to name each one of those items after one of us heroes. But only if you're really, you're really into it.
Only if you're really. Wow. I guess there's that. So I'm just going to go ahead and outro this cast, I suppose. Starting with the wonderful, the mighty, the holy Lord Jh'arell the Light.
An important mission, but first we go with the ham, then the pancakes, then the toast, then the bacon, then the eggs again. Yes.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
Oh man, why did I get the tuna fish omelet? I'm not feeling so good.
Oh boy.
I'll be right back.
Nicole as Boris the Benevolent.
That was a satisfying steak.
Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
I always love potatoes and cheese.
And last but not least, Dave as Omega Project Prototype 0.
That was some delicious oil.
And I'm Francesco, and I've been your host and DM. Tune in next time as we will maybe just maybe have a little special surprise for you. See you next time.
Special spooky surprise?
Maybe.
How spooky?
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.